You are Shubhra Panda.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, please come, sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Can you explain, can you briefly introduce yourself,
Yes, sir.
what you have been doing?
My name is Shubhra Panda. I was born and brought up in Delhi. I did my graduations. Yes, sir. My name is Shubhra Panda. I was born and brought up in Delhi. I did my graduation in philosophy honors from Indraprastha College for Women, Delhi University. I graduated in 2019, and since then I have been preparing for civil services.
Okay, you did philosophy. Existentialism is advocated by John Paul Sartre, Camus, Kafka, and all those people.
Yes.
What do you know about it and how it is useful for a civil servant?
So existentialism philosophy mainly came when there was talks about the mass movement, and there was very much less focus on the individual identity of a person. So existentialism in one way was a revolt against that, and it enhanced, it analyzed how freedom is very important for an individual. So it said that there are no predetermined essence for a human, and every person has to make a new meaning of his own life. So that was one thing. And when we come to civil services, I think existentialism is a very important philosophy, because at every aspect, at every point of time, we have to make very crucial decisions. So in that case, we have to understand that we are endowed this freedom, and we have to use it very judicially, through which we can give meaning to our lives and also whom it is going to affect.
If you have to choose Vishishta Advaita and Advaita, what would be the right policy, right philosophical trend you would adopt in your personality?
So, if we see the Advait Vedant, it talks about unity, but it goes far beyond that. When we talk about it, there are some of the things which are lacking in the Prakriti, like the dissolution and the destruction, and these are somehow also attributed to the unity, the Brahman. However, when we talk about Vishishta Advait, it somehow corrects the problems which Advait has faced. So I think in more of a logical sense, I would go with Vishishta Advait.
Okay. Malacca Strait is very, very close to China, and it creates problem to all the countries: Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, India also. How India is securing its maritime interests in this area?
So one thing which India has done is to secure the law and order situation over there through patrolling and through putting some guards in the nearby islands. Secondly,
Which are the nearby islands?
so in Andaman and Nicobar, India has.
It is Indian island.
Yes, sir, in Indian island, India has situated some forces to safeguard its interests. Uh, Apart from this, India has also espoused the norms of Sagar, wherein it talks about security for all in the regions, and also the CDRI, where it talks about resilient infrastructure. So, in this way, India is espousing the maritime security in the region.
India is countering the string of pearls policy by encircling China by its diamond of necklace policy. You just explained how diamond of necklace almost encircles China.
I am sorry, I will not be able to.
Sir will ask you.
Okay, Shubhra, what is the meaning of Dilshad?
Meaning of Dilshad?
Meaning of Dilshad, huh?
I do not know.
Shadra.
So Shahadra means the door through which the Shah enters. It was basically regarding the entrance door for the Shah from the Delhi to the Meerut region.
Okay, okay. Now, you are a philosophy student. Do you believe in rebirth?
So yes, I do. I do. Yes, I do.
Then how come the population of the world is increasing?
So I think there are not just humans, but there are also many other species, and we are seeing decline in many of the species in the animals.
So the fact that India's population has increased from 35 crore to 140 crores, that means the species who are taking birth again, they are preferring India as a preferred destination to be reborn.
So this, I just logically thinking that what could be the reason, but I think the law of karma has.
Because see, preferred destination, everybody wants to go to Canada,
Yes,
not America. Then population of those countries should increase.
I see. Yes, sir. Well, I think there are many things which we cannot be certain, but some philosophers has talked about the law of karma and all those things. Those also has some role to play.
What is that law that India's population is increasing so much?
So from philosophical point of view, I cannot explain, but from other perspectives, I can say that the high fertility rate, which was initially there, now it is controlled. So that is one of the reason, and also the economic boom.
But of course, I want to philosophically understand. Anyway, now, what does philosophy say about plants? They also have a soul.
So Jaina philosophy explains that everything, even the non-living things, also have a soul. Jaina philosophy, basically, it talks about soul, but all other philosophies also say it.
Okay. So, what is the definition of forest?
Definition of forest. So forest could be defined as a green area where very large trees with large canopies are there, and it also supports a very rich and vibrant ecosystem with varied.
So, as per Supreme Court, how they have tried to define a forest?
So they have tried to give a more broader definition through trees and through greeneries, so that most of it could be protected. They have taken that view.
What exactly have they said?
So I cannot recall the exact statement. I'm sorry.
Recently, Supreme Court had said,
Yes, sir. T.N. Godavaran case, they have reiterated.
case that was 1996. It was not a new case.
They have reiterated their statement about it. So I'm sorry, I cannot answer it.
That anything which is forest as per the dictionary meaning of forest or as per what is in the record. They have asked the states to give the record. Whatever is on the record, you give to you. Okay. Anyway, and what is forest cover?
Forest cover of India?
What is the definition of forest cover?
Forest cover. Sir, forest cover basically determines how much area of the country is under forest. They have divided it into very high density forest, low density.
Cover is something is under forest cover if it's minimum 1 hectare in area with 10% canopy cover. Then it is counted as forest cover. Right? And is there a tree census in India?
Sorry, sir, can you please repeat?
Tree census in India?
Yes, sir, there is tree census.
Is it of the whole country or is it of each state?
So I think it is done on state by state basis and then collected the information.
And the livestock census?
Yes, sir, livestock census is also done.
After how many years?
It is done in 5 years.
That is for the state or is for the country?
So I'm not sure, but I think it is for state by state basis and then the data is collected.
This is for the country and tree census for the state. Why?
The exact answer.
Simple. Livestock can walk across the border. Tree cannot walk across the border.
Yes,
So
yes.
tree is fixed in the state.
Yes, yes.
So you can count them whenever you want.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Okay.
Yes.
Livestock is a mobile population.
Yes, sir. Very good. Okay.
The shepherds, that's what they're doing. My last question. There's a huge garbage patch floating somewhere. What is it?
So in Pacific Ocean, there is huge.
What's it called?
I cannot recall the
No. Great Pacific Garbage Patch.
Yes, sir.
What is the size?
So I do not know, but it is very large sized area.
It's 1.6 million square kilometers. Now, I am quite confused. How did the plastic waste reach that place? What could be the reason?
So basically, the streams which flow, they have a particular direction. So because of that, the garbage which is disposed of somewhere else, they go through there. So there are some geographical reasons. First, there are some gravitational forces because of which there is direction, and also there is a salinity difference within the water because of which there is a deeper layer which is going on, and then above it there is another layer which is flowing. So these are some of the reasons. Temperature difference, and also the size of the shape of the continent, that also influences the flow of the.
Has nothing to do with the rotation of the earth.
So I think I am not sure, but these are the major reasons that would have also affected it.
Okay, so let's say Shubhra is made the project director of this UN project to finish this garbage patch in 3 years. What would you do?
So first off, I will start by taking some preventive measures that no more garbage is.
You cannot prevent. Gate लगा दोगे, 1.6 kilometer की fencing लगाओगे.
No, sir, I would.
And anyway, the garbage will reach somewhere or the other. It will reach there only.
So I would try to inculcate some habitual
that is all right.
They don't do it.
Okay, that's all right. How will you remove that patch?
So that is a very. Can I take some few minutes
Yes,
to
yes.
come up? Thank you, sir.
Those minutes belong to the other people.
Yes. I So this has to be done manually as well. Taking large ships and doing it. We cannot just wait for it.
Tow it away from there.
Sorry, sir. Towing it up. Yes, sir.
Tow it to where?
So they has to be recycled. We have to focus on a circular economy where the plastic.
Tow it to where?
Tow it.
Who will allow 1.6 million square kilometer garbage to come to their place?
So I think
so costly.
So there has to be some consensus on how many countries are going to take it and repurpose it.
Well, I'll not waste your time. It's simple. Just take portable crushers there, crush the material back into dana, and send the dana to whichever country is willing to take it.
It is a very good.
You know, the dana can be used. Are you aware?
No, sir, not very much.
Plastic dana, you understand, granules.
Yes, sir.
Granules.
Yes, sir.
It can be used for what?
So it can be used for various things.
Like?
So, for example, in the cosmetic industry, it is also used.
It is largely being used to make roads.
Yes, sir. Roads and infrastructure
as raw material for roads.
Yes, sir.
And for recycled furniture, plastic cans, anything made of recycled plastic.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sorry, I took your time.
Shubhra, shall we talk about foreign policy?
Yes, sir.
Right, you're ready?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, one of your hobbies is yogasanas.
Yes, sir.
Right? So we have had a huge achievement with regard to yoga, right, internationally.
Yes, sir.
Could you tell me about that?
So because of India's initiative, 21st of June was named as the International Yoga Day. That was one of the achievement which India achieved.
Right. So that is an example of India's soft power, right?
Yes, sir. Soft.
What are the other kinds of soft power that India is now associated with?
So through festivals also, India is portraying its soft power. Other than that, food cultures is also there, and dresses. These are other soft powers, how India is interacting with the world.
Right. And any examples of hard power? Have you thought about hard power also? Does India have hard power?
So hard power basically implies the use of military tactics.
Right.
And by establishing various units of the forces at various strategic places and not directly conflicting, not taking direct action, but creating a deterrence. That way also India is using its hard power.
Not only military, but there could be other aspects also, right? India's capabilities in
nuclear arsenal. Yes, sir.
What is the size of India's economy? Where does India stand? Fifth largest?
Yes, sir. Fifth largest economy of the world.
Muscles, right?
Yes.
Right. So this is soft and hard power. Have you thought about philosophy and morality? Right? Are there some values which are universal and some which are time changing? So have you thought about these things?
So in this aspect, Kant has given a very good explanation how to universalize it. And I have very much connected with that philosophy about the categorical imperative that don't do to others what you don't want to be done to you, universalizing some propositions. That is something that I found very amusing for universalization.
Yeah, but is that relevant for foreign policy? That any big power will want to do what it wants to do, but doesn't want others to do the same thing.
So the situations are very complex when we come to foreign policy because there are very many factors which has to be factored in. While in individual capacity, I think that could be easily followed because we are talking about morality. But when we come to foreign policy, we have to take into account the national interest as well and at what position we are in. Are we in the back foot? Are we leading? So I think these are some of the ideas which shape our foreign policy, and not only the moral imperatives, but they have to be followed very vigorously.
Yeah, but what would you say to those who say that India doesn't have a morality-driven foreign policy when it comes to Israel and Hamas or Ukraine and Russia? You can't just sit back and watch death and destruction, right? So those who would criticize Indian foreign policy, but you have the responsibility of defending India. So how would you go about saying that?
So I would firmly disagree with them. India is not a fence sitter. India has been very clear with its decisions and has portrayed them on various occasions. For example, in Israel and Hamas, India has long held the position of two-state solution, and how the other state intervention are not going to actually help it. As we can see in the Ukraine situation, because there are many aids are coming in, the war has prolonged. There is no consensus on how to stop the war. India has always encouraged consensus building as a diplomatic solution. So I would say that India is not passive, but India has actively encouraged dialogues and discussion within the affected parties.
Right, but still we are tilted towards Russia, right?
So I would say that we have a very rich historic connection with Russia, and that could be taken into account, but we are also firm on how sovereignty should be placed.
Last question on this. Uh, Russia occupied Crimea, right?
Yes, sir.
So why should we be concerned about this then?
So one of the reason is how these same actions could be followed by our big neighbor. For example, China. If there are situations where a portion is forcibly occupied, so the military mightier could think that that could also be followed in other places. So the precedent becomes a little problematic because in our neighborhood and in many neighborhood of many countries, there could be followed the same precedent. That is one of the reasons which has to be worried about.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, Shubhra,
Yes, sir.
tell me two weaknesses of your personality.
So I would say that I am a very self-introspective person, and for now, I don't think I have major personality issues. But I think in the near future, if there arises some, then I would be able to change those things. For now, I cannot think of any. Sorry.
Don't you think you are emotional and cry easily?
So that could be one, but it could also be taken as a good sign because it means I have high emotional intelligence and empathy, and that could become my power as well because I have to work with very marginalized population. So that could also be a power, I would say.
You take it as a strength.
Yes, sir. I would take it as a strength.
What about getting nervous?
So I think I can work upon it, but I am not very nervous, I would say. I am pretty confident when the situation comes. However, the nervousness could be curbed by me. So that is something that I can work upon if I do so.
Okay, sir was talking about reincarnation and rebirth.
Yes, sir.
Osho Rajneesh has said that nowadays we do not see ghosts and spirits very easily because perhaps all of them have taken birth in the form of humans. So you justify, as you are a believer of rebirth, so you justify your belief by taking help of some philosophies and philosophers.
That why can't we see ghost? Sorry, that why can't we see ghost? That is what I have to justify.
I do you believe that rebirth happens?
Okay.
You can throw light upon it.
Mhm.
You can quote some philosophies and philosophers in its justification.
So one of the major philosophies which I resonate with regarding the rebirth is law of karma. We see many peoples who are very good, but still they have to suffer a lot. It means they had some accumulated karmas because of which they had to take rebirth and then they had to suffer. So I think that is what had made me a firm believer in rebirth. That is one of the aspect I would say.
So what do you call suffering? Somebody who has born in India, very poor district, Pudukkottai in Tamil Nadu, and someone has someone is born in New York. Do you feel this is because of law of karma?
So I would say that sufferings is of many kind. It is not just restricted to economic prowess, but it also encompasses to the mental strength and all the other things. How a person has to lead his daily life. Is he happy or not? So karmas and their fallouts are very intricate and very complicated, which cannot be understood in simple terms. How we do that.
Is psychology also justifying this thing through research or something? Rebirth?
So I'm not exactly sure, but there could have been some researches.
Psychology.
Yes, sir. So I haven't read much on it.
Okay, my last question is, while answering, sir, you use terms soft power, hard power. What is a smart power?
So smart power would be calibrating your strength and using strategically your soft and hard powers and other diplomatic ways to enforce or to maneuver how the decisions are made.
So what would you call India? Soft power, hard power, or a smart power?
So I would say India is very pragmatic and it is using judicially its power. So it is very much a smart power.
Thank you very much.